Hello, welcome to my humble abode. Today I want to go ahead and talk about Fae Farm, which is a game that I found out about during the Nintendo Direct, and I absolutely was super intrigued by this game because it looks so similar to the games that I've played previously, such as like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, Fantasy Life. All those games are amazing, and it just seems like this game is a huge amalgamation of all those games, and I'm absolutely excited about it. So I just want to go ahead and share what I found out about the gameplay, environments, and whether this game is right for you, especially if you've already played other titles such as like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the video. Fae Farm is a Switch exclusive farm sim RPG for 1 to 4 players that combines many game mechanics such as dungeoneering, exploration, magic, combat, foraging, mining, farming, fishing, and even allows you to decorate a cute and cozy home. In Fae Farm, you'll be able to forge new bonds with residents, discover Fae magic, and trek across mysterious realms. As the seasons change, you use the newfound skills that you've learned along the way to restore the world around you. So Fae Farm is currently set to release in spring of 2023 and is currently being developed by Phoenix Labs, who have created Dauntless, which is a multiplayer monster hunter role-playing game, which is like far from like the cute nature of Fae Farm. So I'm really interested to see how they will create Fae Farm and what the outcome will be. I do see some similarities in environment, but that's about it so far. It has a much larger emphasis on combat and exploration in comparison to games like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. What's exciting is that the game allows you to equip fairy wings and venture throughout the lands of Azoria, rather than just being stuck on your farm all day. There are a couple ways to progress through the game, which include daily cycles of activities that you can do, which are pretty broad, so players can pick and choose what they want to do. It gives the player more control over what they want to interact with, but I feel like in other games, if you don't do the stuff that you don't really like to do, you can't really progress through the game, so you kind of have to like grind it out. So I like the choice that they give you in this game. Here's how the overall gameplay looks like for this game. In the beginning, you have a very small and overrun farm when you first get it. So your goal is to build bigger gardens, harvest more crops, and clean the surrounding area. Decorate it nicely and then build a bigger home. The developers have added a coziness system that depends on the player's interior decorations. Similar to how Animal Crossing gives your house a Happy House Academy ranking based on the decorations and furniture in your house. Somehow, the coziness system and the player's interior decorations relate to the player's health bars. This sounds a little weird, but how I think it works is that when you improve your coziness score by decorating your house, your health, stamina, and mana also increase, which allows you to explore the world more easily and get more materials. There's also a linear storyline that leads you into all the different environments in the game and all the different kinds of main characters in the story, which really reminds me of how Fantasy Life does it, since they do like a very similar thing. Beyond those features, you can also cultivate an enchanted farm with up to 4 players in local or online multiplayer, and you can even share your progression by crafting items, tending to crops, and exploring the world of Azoria together with your friend and family members. Phoenix Labs has experience with building other multiplayer games before from their last game, Dauntless, which is also a multiplayer game. Using this prior experience, they plan to make co-op play as seamless as possible. Since this game is called Fae Farm, the game infuses a lot of magic into everything you do, regardless of whether you're farming, battling enemies, or navigating the fairy wilds. As you gain more experience in the game, you'll learn even cooler spells that will make doing your everyday tasks much more exciting. For example, in the trailer, there is a water bloop spell that allows you to summon a giant ball of water that splashes on all your crops instead of just putting down a simple sprinkler like in Stardew Valley. A lot of farming sims tend to head towards automation once the player becomes tired of doing the tedious task over and over again, which just stops players from doing the activity. But instead of doing that, Fae Farm wanted to make it more efficient, more fun, and make it more rewarding for players rather than resorting to automation outright. The developers really emphasized that it's really important to have the game not play itself and let the players enjoy the game and then play the game, which I think is really awesome. Now, this sounds interesting, but I've actually never had an issue with automation in games like Stardew Valley and things like that, since when done properly, I feel like it can still be pretty fun. However, learning new spells in order to make tasks easier and more efficient does sound like a whole bunch of fun. I'm so excited for that. Making new friends and meeting the townsfolk is a must for a farming game, and Fae Farm is no stranger to that. There will be many townsfolk and colorful characters that you can meet in this game, which I'm so excited about. And as you complete quests for them, you'll unravel their stories and forge stronger friendships. If you love exploring ruins and traversing dungeons across multiple scenic realms to uncover the hidden secrets of Azoria's past, this game is 100% for you. At least it is for me. Since I love when games have hidden secrets that you can slowly uncover as you progress through the game, it makes me so much more engaged in a game for longer periods of time when there's a strong plot line. And one of my favorite features in games that I admittedly spend too much time on is customizing my character with like cute outfits and like decorating my place so that's a little bit cozier. And Fae Farm actually encourages this obsession by making it so that the cozier your home is, the more rewards you'll unlock. This is known as the cozy system, which I've kind of mentioned before, which I think is really unique because of the rewards that you receive from making your home cozier, which results in making your character stronger. According to Fae's press release, they mentioned that the game is a love letter to their favorite farm sims and cozy games. Games like Harvest Moon, Ocarina of Time, and Animal Crossing heavily inspired the creation of Fae Farm. In fact, one of the developers has more than 800 hours in Animal Crossing. However, I think this game has other influences other than just the games I've mentioned, because I definitely see a lot of like fantasy life within this game, and maybe it's because of all the fantasy themes and then the RPG element intertwined inside this game. Developers spend a lot of time looking into how to build the co-op experience by looking at the adventure craft and survival craft genres as well as other multiplayer games, and they took inspiration from what was done successfully in those other types of games, and from what they saw, they found that what successfully worked for those games was when players could pick roles and specialties. For example, one player can focus mainly on just farming while the other could do mining in the dungeons while fighting off monsters, and then they would work together to get things done quicker. So as a single player though, you have access to everything as well. You're allowed to level up all your skills and get access to the perks. It would just take longer to progress since you would be the only person playing. So when you first arrive on the farm with your friends or family, you'll have a shared home and one plot of land, but as your team progresses through the game, you'll unlock new plots of land, so you can eventually have 4 houses, one for each person. And I really love this since decorating your house and farm is such a core part of the gameplay, and allowing it so that each of the players in your team can eventually reach that potential to own their own place can be really exciting, because then everybody can have their own decorations. And I definitely want to visit my friends' houses and see how they decorate their place. I think that would be so much fun to kind of like chill at their place and say, oh, that's nice, that's a nice vase. I'm not usually a fan of multiplayer games, mainly because I'm highly introverted, but one of the developers on the Phoenix Labs teams mentioned that in this post-pandemic world, getting opportunities to play with your friends and family is a gift, and getting to do that in an atmosphere that isn't just about trying to kill each other makes it a lot more appealing to a broader swath of people within that familial friend space. And I'm really hoping that people will be able to just sit in their living room together and play, and that might be the most magical way to play the game, is sitting next to your friend or family while you're doing it. Or maybe you have friends or family that are all the way across the country and you can get together every once in a while to go work on the farm together. This quote was so incredibly powerful for me because I feel like there are so many games out there, but there aren't that many games where you can just sit down, relax, and build something with your friends and family members together that aren't like super violent or intense. If you're thinking of playing Fae Farm with your friends and family on one console, unfortunately that is not possible, but you can play with each other on 4 separate consoles, kind of like Animal Crossing. They're trying to make it so that if you're playing with friends and family members, people can just drop in and out easily using the friends that you have through the Switch. So there's no like new friend system in Fae Farm that you have to like figure out and manage. So once you have a game with 4 players, some can drop out and the game will still be playable. They can drop in and out whenever they want, and if you want to invite another friend in, they can join in too. The developers made it sound super simple, which I love, because I hate it when you're trying to play with friends and it just becomes a huge hassle to get everybody together on one single game. Developers are hoping to allow more than 4 players to be on the game at the same time, so you can bring a couple of friends in to check out the decorations in the future. So hopefully that will be included when the game is released in spring. Developers want to have multiple saves on your Switch, unlike Animal Crossing where you're only allowed 1 island per Switch. This way you can have one farm with one friend group, another for a separate friend group, and a farm for yourself, kind of like Stardew Valley where they have like multiple saves. Like Stardew Valley, once you end the day, you'll have an end of day summary of everything that you've accomplished, things you've sold, and any level ups you've received throughout the day. I'm really curious to see if they will take the Animal Crossing approach, where the game is synced to real world time, or if they will go in the direction of like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley games, where the game is not based on real world time and is usually much more sped up. I just hope that if they do take the Harvest Moon route, they don't make the day run too quickly, which can make the game feel a lot more chaotic for some rather than just cozy. I think there is a lot of pressure when the day runs by too quickly. So the game is speculated to be free to play, since Dauntless, a game that Phoenix Labs previously produced, was also free to play with microtransactions, but nothing is really confirmed. But I personally would prefer to pay one flat fee rather than have a free to play game with a lot of like microtransactions. In terms of making the game more inclusive, the character creator allows you to choose any look that you want, any clothes you like, and select your pronouns. Developers aim to have the game be a lot simpler so that all sorts of players can access it. They went with a locked camera, which is really great for people who have trouble managing multiple things at once, and they are trying to avoid things such as button mashing, which is really difficult for many people, especially for those who have limited dexterity in their hands. And when making the interface of the game, they did everything in black and white during the design process before color was applied to the interface, so that people who are colorblind can easily make out the different features in the game regardless of the color. Who is this game for? So if you wanted more Animal Crossing in terms of the plotline and being able to adventure around a magical world while building your farm like in Stardew Valley, this game is absolutely for you. This game may not be for you if you dislike combat in games. However, the developers have said that if you don't like one feature in a game, you don't have to fully engage in it. So if you don't like combat, you can focus on another skill such as like farming or fishing or anything else. There is a story, but there doesn't seem to be pressure to follow the story if you don't want to, and you can just focus on decorating your house as well as nurturing your farm like in Animal Crossing. So that's all for this video, but let me know what you think about Fae Farm and if this game is for you, or if it's not for you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you, bye!